So in the wake of that, something happened. And, I don't stay up on all like the YouTube gossip. There's like a mafia specific YouTube world, right? That exists. Guys like Jeff, that guy, he runs like the Mafia Report or whatever. But something went down with you and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't even look into it. I wanted to ask you in person. Did somebody threaten your life again recently?
Not me directly, but I was told there is a contract on my life to be careful. And it actually came, and I was also told, please don't put it out there because your life's in danger. But I felt it was necessary to put it out there because now that they are exposed, what's it going to do? They're going to back up. Because now if I wind up dead, everybody knows it was between Johnny Joe, Michael Hippie, and Michael Mancuso. And
who are those three? Tell us who those three people are and what organizations they're associated with.
Johnny Joe is the underboss now of the Bonanno Crime Family. Okay. Michael Hippie is a captain in the Genovese Crime Family. And Michael knows is a boss of the Bonanno Crime Family, and he's currently incarcerated. And from what I was told, Michael wants that hit before he comes home so he wouldn't be a prime suspect. And I'm not going to reveal. The shooter is basically a guy in the neighborhood, my neighborhood in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx, who's known to be a junkie who never follows through with things, and his name is also Dominic DeLucia. So, and I put it out there just to actually back them up because I am living as a civilian nowadays. Am I going to run? No, I'm not going to run from anybody. I'm not hiding. I'm not looking for a problem. But if something comes to my doorstep, and I told law enforcement this, I'm going to leave them in the street if I have the opportunity, if they don't get me off guard. And I'm going to make sure that I take them out and then call law enforcement.
How serious is a threat like this in the modern day? Like how, when the mob threatens to take somebody out because of informing in this day and age, can they still go through with that? Do they still have that kind of juice?
Absolutely. It doesn't take much to kill somebody. It's just somebody with a gun or a knife or, just to get somebody off guard. But like I was told, everybody up there is being monitored, being watched. And I figured that was going to come down because, and that's why I even put it out to Ernie, Big Ernie. Control your guys. Because I know when Quiet Dom was still alive, he probably just told everybody to leave him alone.
Who's Big Ernie?
Big Ernie is up there in the ranks of the Genovese Crime Family. And, he was my mentor. Right. So I put it out to him, Ernie Muscarello, where you better tell Hippie to back up him. Hippie, I'm sure, is answering to Patty Falsetti, who's also supposedly is a consigliere of the Genovese. You never know who's who in the Genovese because they always put buffers to protect one another. They do it the right way.
Yeah.
But and Hippie and I, there's no love lost there. Like I said, I think I said on your show, when we were younger, I had robbed him. I put a gun to him, took his drugs, kicked him out of the car. And, he left the car like a punk because that's all he is. He's the type of guy that needs 9 guys behind him to fight. He'll never go one-on-one with somebody. It's always 9-on-1 or 10-on-1.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this doesn't seem like a professional job, the way the Genovese are known to act. Like, this doesn't seem like thorough work. If you're going to touch somebody, just touch them.
To be honest, I think it was thorough work. It's just they don't know there's so many cooperators out there.
Right.
They don't know now who spoke, who said something.
Right.
So that's the issue.
Did the feds bring this to you?
It was brought to me. It was brought to me to be careful, to look out, to watch out, keep my guards up. But where I live on my property, I have cameras, motion detectors, and I do it not that there's a threat on my life. It's just for my own security, my own protection. And then I have a slew of pit bulls, so I'm always alerted. I'm always on guard. And it's just me. Even if I never cooperate, I would still live in that format. Even when I was in New York, I mean, I had a pit bull and I had a Rottweiler in my house. And I was well known in the Bronx, where I wouldn't have to lock my door in my house, but I still did it. I'm just always cautious with my surroundings.
Are you allowed to carry?
No, I'm not. But you know what? They do have air guns that are legal for me to carry. And if you Google online a deadly air gun, they do as much damage as a 38. Some of them as much damage as a 9mm would do. And you could get off 5-6 shots with that type of velocity.
Oh, shit.
So, and those are legal.
Right.
So
those technically aren't firearms.
Yeah, they cost about $2,000 a piece, but it's well worth it. So
wow. Yeah. So you'd rather take some time in jail for defending yourself than end up dead?
Oh, I'm defending myself. State of Florida, they have self-defense law, and especially if somebody comes in from New York who doesn't belong on my property or in the surrounding area, and I wind up leaving them there, and they find out that they are associated, they are from Pelham Bay or Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and they are affiliated with organized crime, I beat they won't charge me. They will not charge me. So I'm protecting myself. They have no business being here. And especially, I'm sure they'll have a weapon on them as well.
Of course. Of course. Do you think this had anything to do with our podcast?
I'm not sure. I know, again, there's no love lost with Michael Hippie. There's no love lost with Michael Knows, who's the boss of the Bonannos. But I would have thought Johnny Joe has more sense. I know Hippie is probably answering to Patty Falsetti. I would have thought Patty Falsetti had more sense than that. That's why I put out there, Ernie Muscarello, tell you guys to back up. Otherwise, you know what? Come for me. And even if they did hit me, which can happen, I'm not invincible. I know that. They will, you know what the government will do to organize crime up there? All those bosses? They would have to make a statement, because it's not like I'm living in New York, living in Pelham Bay, that I'm throwing it in their face every day. I'm doing my thing, my little part of the world outside of New York. Even I was up there for Vlad. I did a interview with Vlad. I was in Manhattan. I didn't go to the Bronx. I could have easily went. And, I went up there for the day, went out to dinner with some of my old friends up there. They knew I was up there. They came and saw me. We ate in Manhattan. And then I got back on a plane, went back down to Florida. So...
Well, it seems like you're not the only wise guy that cooperated and is now on YouTube. So
no, I'm not.
It's like, why now? Why do they feel after years that now is the time to get you? Like, I feel like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but we got a lot of eyeballs on the episode, and the timing was pretty strange. I'm like, geez, maybe they saw this and it reignited like fury in Michael the Nose, or what is his name? The Nose?
Michael the Nose. But Michael the Nose is incarcerated. So what I'm thinking, the way I was told, he wanted this hit to go down because he has now, if he's home, what's going to happen? He's going to be the prime suspect. If he's away in jail, now he has an airtight alibi. I'm in jail. I didn't order a hit. So this was probably initiated before he went away, and people got wind of it because there's so many cooperators out there, and they want to get their brownie points with the government.
That's so crazy. Like, they couldn't even organize a hit amongst themselves without it leaking.
No. Now, if Hippie, well, like I said, Hippie's a stone cold punk. If he's part of it, he should have came down. That's like if it was Vinny and myself. Vinny goes to jail. Vinny left a hit to me. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I might have told Ace. I might have told Bruno, somebody close to me like that, but they would have been part of the hit team. Because whoever comes down here, number one, they have a tremendous disadvantage. They don't know the area. And I know my area. I know my surroundings. I know what's out of place, what's not out of place. And then if they go to that level that somebody in my family, God forbid, gets hurt, all bets are off. I will be in New York in a split second. I could care less about doing life in prison. They're going to see the old Dominic times 10. And I know where they all live. So, and you know what? That's my area of the Bronx. So I'm familiar with the area. It's not like me going into a strange area, but all bets will be off. So Jesus Christ could come down and is not going to save them if somebody in my family ever got harmed. And that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying it to be a tough guy. I'm just saying that that's a fact. That's definitely a fact.
Would they violate the code like that? Do you think wise guys would hurt? You know, that's been off limits, right? That's in the rule book. You don't touch family.
Well, you can never say never. It could have been an accident. They're coming for me, but God forbid a stray bullet or something hits somebody in my family. You know, it's just, you know, things happen. You can never say never. It just, you're not supposed to kill a boss. Sammy and John Gotti killed Paul Castellano.
Right.
You know, a boss is not supposed, nobody in organized crime is supposed to cooperate. Look, Joe Messina wore a wire. First boss in history. Not only did he cooperate, he wore a wire against Vinny Basciano.
Yeah.
So,
have you considered that this hit team of these 3 or 4 guys, could you consider that one of them might be cooperating? You know, like that guy got an order. I can't remember the gentleman's name, the punk. He got an order from Michael the Nose. Hey, go take out Dom. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And then he went to the feds.
Well, I think it's more with Johnny Joe had the order. He was discussing it with Michael Hippie, 2 different crime families. Johnny Joe, I always got along with him. Michael Hippie, I never got along with him, but Johnny Joe's following orders. So I guess with Hippie, they're trying to facilitate who could we send, who could we get. But to answer your question, I never thought I would cooperate. So I wouldn't put it past anyone. So for me to say no, I would be the biggest fool to say, no, they would never cooperate. I didn't think I would ever cooperate. Everybody thought Joe Messina would never cooperate, especially wear a wire, especially Vinny Basciano, yet he did. So you can never say no to that.
Yeah.
You know, in this type of environment, this is not the old days, but again, you have people, they want to move up in the ranks. They want to prove themselves. They want to become somebody. The mafia is still, even from when I do my podcast, there's people that still glamorizing the streets. They glamorize guys like Joey Molino.
Yeah.
Like, I look at it like, are you people like fools? Like, this is a guy who will extort you, kill you, harm you, and you're going to glamorize him? I mean, it's mind-boggling. But that, you know, the mafia, Hollywood made the mafia glamorous, the lifestyle glamorous. And it's not glamorous. It's not glamorous.
Can I ask you about Joey Merlino? So, you know, he's going on all these podcasts and he's saying, you can't call me the boss. You could call me the alleged boss, kind of insinuating that he's still active, which is interesting because everybody that comes on podcasts that's affiliated is not anymore. But it sounds like Joey's still either behind the scenes or more overtly is still in the game. Do you know what's going on with him in Philadelphia?
Joey is still the boss. Joey just stepped back. Number one, you don't go through what you went through all those years to get the top position because it's a gravy train for him as far as Christmas time, monthly contributions. He stepped back. He's out of the limelight in the mafia life. But I'm sure he gets his envelopes, however he gets them. But Joey is a degenerate gambler from what I heard, and he says it himself as well. And just recently, and I can't divulge, you know, my sources because they're good friends of mine, but Joey lost a ton of money and somebody paid it for him. It's ridiculous. So he's not going to give up that top position. Are guys in the life upset with him? Absolutely. They just, I think, firebombed his steakhouse or his Subway house, whatever he had in Philly. He opened up a little restaurant or fast food or sandwich shop. They firebombed it on him. So there are guys that are upset with him because he shouldn't be in the public eye. All you're doing is drawing light to you. And I was one of the first ones on YouTube that commented about it. And I said, Joey, if you're smart, you wouldn't be on YouTube. You're saying you're not talking about crimes, Viv, but eventually you're going to slip up. Something's going to be said, and the government's watching all of this. And trust me, with him even more so, because they want him. They have a hard-on for him. They want him off the streets. And he keeps on throwing it in their face, just like what John Gotti did. Instead of backing up, pulling up, he was even more in the public eye, in the persona of the public. And Joey Molino's doing that now times 10. And I think
it seems like
definitely numbered.
It seems like Merlino's trying to live this John Gotti public figure life, but in the age of the internet and YouTube.
And he's trying to be the Robin Hood of the streets for the people. And he came out and said, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it to expose all the rats and expose them and talk the truth. Yeah, he went off of YouTube because they weren't monetizing him, because he uses profanity every other sentence. And then he said that. People go to my Patreon because they're not monetizing me. But I thought you weren't doing it for the money, Joey. So if you read into things, listen, he seems I never met him in person. I heard a lot about him. Degenerate gambler, very charismatic, fun to be with. You'll have a blast. And he hates cooperators, rats. I appreciate that. I respect that. But stop bullshitting people at the end of the day, because that's all he's doing. But, he does his own thing, and I respect him. He's doing his own thing, too.
So did he never cooperate or take a pinch or anything like that? What is the history of, tell us a little bit about the history of Joey Merlino and the Philadelphia crime family, which I think is the Scarpo family.
From what I know with Joey Merlino, he was in the mob war against John Stamfer. They battled it out. Joey wound up winning to become the boss of the Philly family. Joey did a lot of jail time, in and out of prison, fought some cases, won some big cases. So, of course, now the government has a hard-on for him. Definitely. He's not a rat. However, when you take the oath in Cosa Nostra, the first thing they say, you're not allowed to speak to the media. You're not allowed to speak to law enforcement. And those just two of the many things you're not supposed to do. So if I speak to the media, what are they saying? I'm a rat. As soon as you talk to law enforcement and you give them any information, whether it helps them or not, you're a rat. You could get killed for that. Right. So by Joey coming on social media, by the code of Omerta and the code of Cosa Nostra, he's a rat, because he's not an actor. He's not an athlete that he's on. He's in the mafia. And you shouldn't be in the public limelight. Now, granted, if they take pictures of you walking into a restaurant, cool, that's different. But by you promoting yourself on social media and you getting on talking about things, even I heard him talk about crimes that he did time for, that why are you talking about this? You shouldn't be talking about it, because God forbid. I heard one guy go on a show talking about a crime and said, the statute of limitations ran out so I could talk about it. This is in the beginning. I'm like, you got to be the biggest fool. With organized crime, statutes of limitations never runs out, because they RICO you. They keep on saying because of the continuance of the crime family. So people don't even realize half the time. It might not even be Joey that slips up. It might be one of his cronies. But now Joey's implicated, and it's going to give him a case. So in the beginning, I told Joey, you need to step back, because I don't want to see anybody in jail. But, Joey's Joey. And, I went back and forth with them a little bit, and actually I used to say Joey Merlino and Little Scruff just to break chops a little bit.
Mhm.
A little scruff turned around and told Joey, you know what? I'm going to call Dom Chicklets. I
Nice.
started laughing. I commended them with that. But it was all good. And, it's just, it's different. I guess it gave
Yeah.
the genre some life, having him on. But,
Yeah.
Joey's Joey. He'll do his own thing. I respect him for that. But being they took the oath of Cosa Nostra, that's a
Yeah.
rat move, what he's doing. It's called
Definitely.
dry snitching.
Yeah, dry snitching. So that's I didn't even know that. So even if it's a crime that it normally would have a statute of limitations, like whatever, let's say loan sharking, right? Say it's a 10-year statute of limitations. If they charge you with a RICO as part of a family, they can go back as far as they want.
Correct. They were talking about Joey's mother cashing checks. Oh, we go to her, we give her money, she cashed the check, or she cashed the check, give us cash. So I think Joey's mother had passed away. I didn't know it at the time. But okay, so if there's other people they're talking about in that, even though it happened 20, 25 years ago, it's still part of organized crime. So they could always go back.
Yeah.
There are no statute of limitations when you're talking Cosa Nostra.
What do you think the attitude today, in this day and age, 2024, what do you think the FBI's attitude towards Italian Cosa Nostra in the United States is? Like, do they still have a massive hard-on for you guys? Do they still have the resources that were dedicated toward taking you guys down, like compared to, John Gotti's era, the 90s, right? The end of the heyday for the mob? Or do they kind of see you guys as like, well, you know what? If they're not killing each other, let these old guys, have their rackets, and we don't really prosecute that much. Like what? Because I know some FBI guys. What's your take on it?
They cut back a lot as far as they downsized on their task force, but they're still monitoring. They're not as vigorously monitoring due to the fact of the Bloods, the Crips, the Dominicans, the Mexicans, all those crime syndicates, because they're committing a lot of acts of violence, so they're spread out a lot more. But they're definitely on top of the mafia in other ways. The mafia did go underground a lot. They're still out there. It's still a force. You still have kids. And like I said, Hollywood glamorized the mafia life so much. You have these kids in these neighborhoods. That's all they want. That's all they look up to till this day.
Still?
They look up to a wise guy. Absolutely.